Imagine Europe plunged into chaos. Barbarians roam free, knowledge is lost. This is the popular image of the Dark Ages. But how accurate is it? This essay will explore the realities of this era, challenging common misconceptions and shedding light on its complexities. We'll delve into the advancements made in various fields, the role of influential figures, and the impact of the Church. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged as we journey through this fascinating period. The term Dark Ages is itself a misnomer. It conjures images of a time shrouded in ignorance and devoid of cultural or intellectual achievements. It suggests a period devoid of progress, a time when civilization supposedly regressed into a state of barbarism and chaos, a time of intellectual stagnation. However, this is a gross oversimplification of a complex and dynamic period in history. This perception arose during the Renaissance, when scholars looked back with disdain upon the preceding centuries, considering them barbaric. They coined the term Dark Ages to highlight what they saw as a stark contrast to their own era of enlightenment and rediscovery. However, this view is overly simplistic and fails to acknowledge the significant developments of the era. The Middle Ages were a time of profound transformation and innovation. While it's true that Europe experienced instability and upheaval following the fall of the Roman Empire, this period was far from dark. In fact, it was a time of significant cultural and intellectual activity. Monasteries became centers of learning, preserving, and copying ancient texts. The Carolingian Renaissance saw a revival in art, culture, and education. Agricultural advancements, such as the heavy plough and three-field system, increased productivity and supported population growth. The establishment of universities laid the groundwork for future intellectual pursuits. The Middle Ages also saw the construction of architectural marvels like cathedrals and castles, which stand as testaments to the ingenuity and skill of medieval builders. Far from being a period of decline, the so-called Dark Ages were a time of resilience and adaptation, setting the stage for the flourishing of the Renaissance and beyond. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD marked a turning point in European history. This monumental event signaled the end of ancient Rome's dominance, a civilization that had once stretched from the British Isles to the sands of North Africa. The decline was not sudden, but rather a gradual process influenced by a myriad of factors, including economic troubles, military defeats, and internal strife. The once mighty Roman legions could no longer defend the vast borders, and the administrative machinery that had kept the empire running began to falter. The sacking of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 AD and later by the Vandals in 455 AD were significant blows that showcased the empire's vulnerability. By the time Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, the Western Roman Empire was but a shadow of its former self. With the collapse of centralized power, new kingdoms emerged, each contributing to the cultural landscape. The vacuum left by Rome's fall was quickly filled by various Germanic tribes who established their own realms. The Ostrogoths took control of Italy, the Visigoths settled in Spain, and the Franks began to consolidate power in Gaul. These new kingdoms were not mere barbarian states, they were complex societies that blended Roman administrative practices with their own traditions. The early medieval period, often referred to as the Dark Ages, was actually a time of significant transformation and cultural development. Monasteries became centers of learning and preservation of classical knowledge, while new forms of art and architecture began to take shape. The Franks, under Charlemagne, established a vast empire that fostered a revival of learning and the arts. Charlemagne, also known as Charles the Great, was crowned Emperor of the Romans by Pope Leo III in 800 AD, symbolizing the continuation of the Roman legacy in a new form. His reign marked the Carolingian Renaissance, a period of cultural and intellectual revival. Charlemagne's court attracted scholars from all over Europe, and efforts were made to standardize education and religious practices. The creation of the Carolingian minuscule, a clear and legible script, facilitated the copying of manuscripts and the spread of knowledge. Charlemagne's empire, though short-lived, laid the groundwork for the future Holy Roman Empire and influenced the political landscape of medieval Europe. In Britain, the Anglo-Saxons developed their own unique culture, characterized by a blend of Germanic and Celtic influences. After the Roman legions withdrew from Britain, the island was left vulnerable to invasions by various tribes, including the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. These groups established several kingdoms such as Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria, each with its own distinct identity. The Anglo-Saxon period saw the creation of remarkable works of literature, such as the epic poem Beowulf and the establishment of important religious centres like Canterbury and York. The conversion to Christianity, beginning in the late 6th century, played a crucial role in shaping Anglo-Saxon society, leading to the construction of churches and the spread of monasticism. While in Scandinavia, the Vikings embarked on daring voyages of exploration and trade. Originating from present-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, the Vikings were seafarers known for their longships, which allowed them to navigate both open seas and shallow rivers. From the late 8th to the early 11th century, they raided and traded across vast distances, reaching as far as North America, the Middle East, and the Byzantine Empire. Viking settlements were established in places like Iceland, Greenland, and even parts of England and France. Their expeditions were not solely for plunder, they also engaged in trade, exchanging goods such as furs, amber, and slaves for silver, spices, and other commodities. The Viking Age left a lasting impact on the regions they touched, influencing local cultures and economies. This period witnessed a fusion of Roman, Germanic, and Christian traditions, creating a rich tapestry of cultural exchange. The spread of Christianity played a significant role in unifying diverse groups under a common religious framework. Missionaries traveled across Europe, converting pagan tribes and establishing churches and monasteries. The Latin language, used in religious and scholarly contexts, became a unifying factor, while Roman law and administrative practices were adapted to fit the new political realities. Art and architecture from this period reflect a blend of influences, with Romanesque churches and illuminated manuscripts showcasing the synthesis of different styles. The exchange of ideas and goods facilitated by trade routes and pilgrimages contributed to the development of a shared European identity, laying the foundation for a new European identity. The early medieval period, far from being a time of stagnation, was a dynamic era that set the stage for the future development of Europe. The interactions between different cultures, the spread of Christianity, and the legacy of the Roman Empire all played crucial roles in shaping the continent. As new powers rose and established their own legacies, the foundations were laid for the complex and diverse tapestry of medieval Europe. This period of transformation and adaptation ultimately paved the way for the Renaissance and the modern era, highlighting the resilience and creativity of human societies in the face of change. The rise of Islam marked a beacon of knowledge during a time when Europe was undergoing transformation. This period, often referred to as the Dark Ages in Europe, was a time of great intellectual and cultural flourishing in the Islamic world. The Islamic Empire, stretching from Spain in the west to India in the east, became a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and knowledge. From the 8th to the 13th centuries, the Islamic world experienced a golden age. This era was characterized by remarkable advancements in various fields of science, technology, and the arts. The cities of the Islamic Empire, such as Baghdad, Damascus, and Cordoba, became vibrant centers of learning and innovation. Scholars from different parts of the world traveled to these cities to study and share their knowledge. Islamic scholars made groundbreaking advancements in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. They developed new mathematical concepts, such as algebra and trigonometry, which are still used today. In astronomy, they built observatories and created detailed star maps. In medicine, they wrote comprehensive medical encyclopedias and performed complex surgeries. Their philosophical works explored the nature of existence, ethics, and the human mind. Cities like Baghdad and Cordoba became centers of learning, attracting scholars from across the globe. The House of Wisdom in Baghdad was a renowned institution where scholars gathered to study and translate texts. The Great Mosque of Cordoba, with its stunning architecture, also served as a hub of intellectual activity. Libraries in these cities housed vast collections of books and manuscripts, making knowledge accessible to many. The Islamic world preserved and translated ancient Greek and Roman texts, ensuring their survival and transmission to Europe. Scholars translated works of Aristotle, Plato, and other Greek philosophers into Arabic. These translations were later translated into Latin and other European languages, sparking a revival of classical knowledge in Europe. The preservation of these texts was crucial for the development of Western science and philosophy. This intellectual exchange played a crucial role in shaping the European Renaissance. The knowledge and ideas that flowed from the Islamic world to Europe laid the foundation for the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment. Renaissance artists and scholars were inspired by Islamic art, architecture, and scientific achievements. The collaboration between Islamic and European scholars led to a new era of discovery and innovation, bridging the gap between the ancient and modern worlds. During the reign of Charlemagne from 768 to 814 AD, a period of cultural and intellectual revival known as the Carolingian Renaissance flourished. Charlemagne, recognizing the importance of education, established schools and encouraged scholarship. He commissioned the creation of illuminated manuscripts, preserving classical and religious texts. This revival, though short-lived, demonstrated the enduring power of knowledge and the human spirit's capacity for renewal. Throughout the early Middle Ages, monasteries played a vital role in preserving knowledge. Monks meticulously copied ancient texts, safeguarding them from destruction. They also served as centers of education, providing instruction in literacy, mathematics, and religious doctrine. Monasteries acted as repositories of learning, ensuring that the intellectual legacy of the past would not be lost. Their contributions were instrumental in transmitting knowledge to future generations.